a hand clap. You want to give somebody a heart, you loving what you're hearing. If you want to celebrate and put up the, I don't know if that's a hat or a cornucopia of celebration. I don't know if that symbol is, but feel free to definitely throughout today's session use those reaction buttons in the chat box to let us know exactly how you're feeling. And don't be afraid to ask questions. We are definitely here to answer. We have a PBIS Rewards rock star with us today, Jill, who is on our fabulous support team. She is here to definitely make sure that you all can, get your questions answered, help make sure that people can get launched and get on their way with PBIS Rewards. So thank you, Jill, for being here with us today. You are a rock star.
I'm excited to be here.
Like we said before as well, if you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to park them in the parking lot, also known as the discussion board, also known as the chat box, okay? We will get to them as soon as possible. Okay, and here's just a look at the agenda for today. We're going to really, this is going to be tough because we're trying to put a whole lot into an hour. So this is kind of the framework of what we're going to do. After we kind of do our welcome, we're going to make sure that we have a breakout session time for those people who have not launched yet. And we'll kind of explain what that means. But Jill is here to help with that situation. So if there's anyone that still needs to launch or has questions about launching or starting up the physical piece of PBIS Rewards, Jill is here to help with that, and we'll get you into breakout rooms so that you can work with her for that particular piece of the PBIS Rewards system. But for everyone else, if your school is already launched, we are here to make sure that we are going to walk you through today a PowerPoint that we're going to give you. And you can use this PowerPoint to actually go back to your school, go back to your organization or campus, and lead them in a professional development session about PBIS Rewards. So we're not only going to walk you through today's PowerPoint, you will have this PowerPoint to be able to edit and make just your own for your school's needs. And we'll talk about ways that you can really utilize that gift of that template so that you can really get your school set up for next semester to just hit the ground running with PBIS Rewards. And then we're going to have a nice little wrap up and give some information that we hope will be helpful to you as we wrap up this session. All right, so that's just a glance at today's agenda. Anna, do you want to talk a little bit about changing your name for the breakout?
Absolutely, that's no problem. So those people that are here today to get some help getting your school launched with PBIS Rewards, what we're going to do is move you to a breakout room with Jill. And so for you to change your name, we're going to walk you through the steps. It's really easy. What we'd like you to do at the very bottom is to click on participant, and there's a little arrow next to that, a little down arrow. So if you can click on that, and then you're going to hover over your name, and where it has more, you're going to click it where it says rename. So for the, oh, sorry. So for those people that need to do that, you're going to type the word launch before your name so that we can move you into that breakout room with Jill, and she's going to walk you through that launch process. She is an expert at it and really help you set your school up for success with PBIS Rewards. And then when y'all are done, you're going to come back to this main room and join us where we're working on that professional development template. So if you could do that for us, we can get you into a breakout room, and then I will have it pop up on your screen in just a second for you to be able to join to move into that breakout room. So those people that need help with launch, we are here for you today, and Jill is really going to help you out. And then let us know in the chat if you have any issues. You can message us, and then we will get you all moved over.
And if you're not sure if you've launched, if you log into PBIS Rewards and you get a pop-up that says you're in pre-academic year, chances are you have not finished your launch. So go ahead and put launch in your name. Or if you don't know how to get into PBIS Rewards, you might not have your launch complete. So you can hop in there and I'll help you get that all sorted out as well.
Excellent.
Thank you,
We've had a
Jill.
few more people join us. So right now, what we're doing is we are adding launch to the front of our name. We're renaming ourselves. If you know that your school needs to launch, and Jill just kind of explained, if you're not quite sure, a way that you might know. So if you don't mind repeating that briefly one more time, Jill, because we've had several people just join us.
Yeah, so if you log into PBIS Rewards and you get a pop-up that says you are in pre-academic year, then you'll want to go ahead and put launch at the front of your name because chances are you have not launched the system yet. We're still waiting on some information. And so we're going to go into a breakout group and I will definitely be able to help walk you through, look at what specifically might be missing from your school, and then go through the whole process about how to get everything launched and ready to use.
Thank you, Jill. And I do notice a few names as far as people that have launch in front of their name. So Anna's working right now to get those people into the breakout room set up with you, Jill. For everyone else, what you will be doing is staying here in the main room with us. I see there is a question from Ms. Hunt asking, is it a paid or free program? PBIS Rewards is a paid program. Um, uh, are we talking prices today, ladies?
Sure. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
It is a paid program. It's a $500 base price, $1.95 per student. Correct me if I'm wrong, everybody.
Mhm.
But it is a paid system, but we will say that it is worth every single penny. And I'm not saying that from the perspective of being an employee for this company now. I'm speaking from the perspective of being a teacher that utilized the program in the classroom. It truly was a game changer for me, worth every single penny. Um, Having a hard time getting breakout room. Don't, no worries. We have not sent anybody to the breakout rooms yet. Anna is getting that set up right now. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Ms. Sheets. She's saying that it is a fabulous program. And so if you do not have the program yet, stay here. We're going to make sure you stay in the main room with us because you'll be able to see what the program is all about as we work through this PowerPoint template that you will be able to have after today's training.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send those people to the launch.
Perfect.
If you end up in the room with the launch and you don't need it, you can come right back to this room. That's no problem. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and send those people, and you can just click that button, just like it says there in the bottom right that says join. Here we go.
All right. Thanks for doing that, Anna.
No problem. I'm going to see if we have anybody else that needs to go to launch.
Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for your patience as we're getting everybody to the right section for today's training. And thank you so much for being here. I also want to share that at the end of today's training, you will have access to a bit.ly or a bit.ly resource page. And not only will it have resources that go along with this session, you will have resources that go with all three of the sessions that we're doing in December. Is that right, Anna?
Yes.
All right. So even if you're not able to go to the other two sessions we're having, that includes a class about like your expectations. We have another class that's about virtual, teaching in a virtual setting or in a distance learning setting. So you will be able to get those resources as well, all on this bit.ly, including this PowerPoint that you'll be able to use. So it's really a plethora of things that will be coming your way, all in one place that you'll be able to utilize.
Okay. All right, India, let's hit it. Let's go.
All right, you guys, are you ready to do this? If so, give me a thumbs up physically or give me a thumbs up using the reactions, but let's get into it. Let's do this. So basically what we're doing is showing you through this PowerPoint how you can utilize it to have a professional development session on PBIS Rewards for your staff. And so here's a few tips and tricks that you can think about when you're, getting your presentation together, okay? So first of all, you want to focus on what your school needs, okay? The focus needs to be on your school. This PowerPoint is going to have a lot of different things. You don't have to do all of it. You may just take the first few slides. You may chunk this one presentation into like literally 4 others, but you focus on what your school needs and just utilize that part for your presentation. The focus is for your school needs. Also, tag team. If any of you have been to any of our sessions, you know that Usually none of us do it by ourselves. There's always another person there with you. Sometimes like today, we have 3 or 4 people. So don't feel like you have to do this by yourself. Maybe find another person on your PBIS team or maybe one of your administrators to kind of do the presentation with you. So if one person's leading, the other person can be troubleshooting. The other person can be, if you're doing virtually, they can answer the chat questions for you. So you want to make sure that you don't do it by yourself. And I see a question here from Coach. Coach is asking, launch, do you mean if we haven't sent our info in and come with the wizard launch? Coach, I'd stay here. You probably need to stay right here. Okay. The other thing is set the tone with music. You may have noticed we play some music as you were coming in. We do that. It kind of sets the tone. People are like, oh, I thought I was coming to a staff meeting. Is this a party? But think about what would be appropriate for your school. If you think that maybe playing something like we did isn't appropriate, maybe you could actually play a recording of kids that were singing in a program at your school. Maybe even start off with a little video clip of some memory from your school where there was a performance or something like that. But set the tone with music to let people feel surprised, that it doesn't feel very stoic, but it feels like a celebration of learning. So music can definitely help you do that as people come into the meeting, whether it's a physical meeting or one that's virtual. And Anna, do we give them, I know usually we save our, we have a playlist that we often use and pick fun, like classic songs and stuff like that from, called our Space Jams. We usually share that at a different training, but if anyone is interested in getting the link to our playlist that we use, feel free to just let us know in the chat and we'll put it in there. A little freebie for you.
I'll do it, no problem.
Definitely. Okay. Make sure, oh, I see someone, Ricardo says, yes, please.
Yes, no problem.
So we'll put that link in there for you.
Sure will.
Resources and handouts. You know, everybody loves to get something, even if it's a piece of paper that has something valuable on it, even if it's just, you know, a PowerPoint or something. So if you can, please make sure that you have resources and handouts so people can leave with information so they can continue to think about the process the entire time. Okay, so Anna, could you put Coach Lean into the breakout room? They said they need
Will
her.
do.
Okay. And Anna also just put into the chat, this is our link to that playlist. It's got everything from the 50s and 60s all the way up to something that probably came out yesterday, lots of different genres. And I believe it's, you might want to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's all, you know, school friendly. So double check that. You're so welcome, Jamie. So the other thing you want to think about is making sure that if possible, you record the session for others. There may be people that aren't able to attend, whether it's virtual or face-to-face. So record that session. And then if it's okay with your leadership, send it out to those that weren't there or to everybody so that they can, you know, kind of have the training another time if they needed to think about certain things or learn certain things. And also you want to increase that participation, have questions, have breakout sessions, put different things in the chat. So definitely make sure that, you know, you're increasing your participation in any way that you can, whether it's a icebreaker at the beginning, whether it's, you know, a little chair dancing at the end, whatever it is to make sure that you increase that participation. And the other thing is keep that conversation going. Whether you want to have some type of chat group after, whether you have a team that formulates, whether you send something out in the school announcements that, you know, is a question that makes them think about the training, whether you send a video clip through email and say, hey guys, here's a video clip from PBIS Rewards. Just want you to watch this and, you know, tell us what you think about it. So somehow after the training, do some things to keep that conversation still going and keep the interest and participation high about whatever you decide to show your staff about PBIS Rewards. And more than anything, you all, you have to be a flexpert. Be flexible. Sometimes we have the best laid plans and something happens, you know, the Zoom doesn't work, or, you know, something happens that you just could not foresee, a fire drill, I don't know, but just be flexible, okay? And just know that if anything, if we didn't learn anything this year, we know that teachers are resilient and we are good at pivoting and being flexible. So make sure that you take that same frame of thought into the presentation that you're going to do for your staff. And then finally, self-help, okay? So make sure that, you know, if you need help, get the help that you need. And a great place to go is the PBIS Rewards support page. Anna has already put that into the chat for you. So definitely you can chat with someone there. It might be Jill actually who's on today's training with us. You can call someone, you can email them, you can see great guides, you can actually see great videos. So if you need help before your training, make sure that you get that help. And a great place to go is actually our support page. Anna, could you also put our email in there as well? If you have
Absolutely.
any concerns, like you're like, oh, I want to go over this, or I have a question, or you guys have any, ideas of how I could do this, feel free to email us. If you email us at training@pbisrewards.com, Anna, myself, Kara, Andy, our whole team gets that email. So we'll be able to help you in any way possible. We want to make sure that you feel confident and ready for your presentation. So if we can help in any way, consider it done. All
All right.
right, so now we're going to really look at how to get started with PBIS rewards. Let's get into it, y'all.
So India, I'm going to pull the presentation out of presentation mode, and we're going to show everybody this same presentation you're going to get, but we want to show you also the notes section that's going to be there, because we know sometimes as a presenter, there's a lot to remember and there's a lot to juggle sometimes when it comes to presenting all of this information and remembering everything. So we're going to pull it out of presentation mode and just put it up here for you so you can see those notes. And then this exact presentation is what you're going to be getting a link to, and you can save it to your Google Drive. You can personalize it for your own school and your own campus. So we really want you to be set up for success with this presentation. So let me pull that out and then reshare.
And while Anna's doing that, I do want you all to, I want you all to also know that I'm sorry, I'm letting some people in here. Okay, as Anna's pulling that up, just make sure, like we said, you can always contact us. We had a question in the chat about, are we recording this? Yes, we are recording this, and it will be sent to you all. So we just want to make sure that if you miss it, you get called out for, you got to cover somebody's class, you get called out for a meeting. We had someone ask about that in the chat. Yes, we are recording it, and I believe that it will be emailed to you. But if not, we are recording it and we can get that recording to you. So like Anna said, we want to show you this actual layout of it so you can see that you do have presenter notes in there that you can refer to as you lead this PD for your staff, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so this is definitely just a slide where you can put in your own personal information, put a picture of maybe you, maybe even your family, a little fun fact about yourself, your contact information. It just kind of sets the tone that yes, this is a training, but I am a person. I have a relationship with you, or I want to have a relationship with you. And even this first slide can help you set that up. Expectations. And like we said, this is kind of an agenda. You can edit all of this, make it work for your school. And now Anna's going to tell us a little bit about how you can, if you have time in your training, set up for PBIS foundations.
Yeah, we always feel like it's so important to go back and cover those basics with PBIS and talk to your staff about that, because remember, sometimes you have new staff comes in, or sometimes we forget some things that we need a little reminder on. And so that is this section on the PBIS foundations. So we always start with, what does it actually stand for? Because there are going to be members of our staff that can't even remember those particular parts of PBIS. So we need to remind them about that. And then what are the foundation pieces of it in simple terms? This is a really great slide talking about how does it impact our staff, our students, and our school. So each of those, why do we do this? Why is it so important? And really, it's because we want to increase that exposure of our students in that education, or excuse me, in that instructional classroom. We want to buy those minutes back where it really matters, and we know that's in class with their teacher. So this is a really important slide. This one, we have found this to be really informative for schools when we talk about the actual amount of minutes that is spent on referrals. Right now, we just have this as an example with 5 discipline referrals a day, but you could use your own data and look at what does that equate to over a year as far as time that is taken up with referrals. So you can see if we just take 15 minutes for the teacher to handle it, the student and the admin, how that equals 96 actual school days that are spent taking care of referrals. It's a huge amount of time. So this is a great one to personalize with your own data if you can, or just to show the amount of time sometimes that is lost when we write those referrals. So then we go into why do we use PBIS rewards? And so this graphic that's here, you can see down in the notes, we gave you a little bit of information for each one of these. So to build that staff buy-in and let your teachers know why do we use this system? What does it allow us to do? And so all of these different features, including saving time. It can be used across grade levels, so you can reward any student at any time, and reducing those office referrals like we just talked about. You can use that for data and reporting, and then overall just building that positive school culture. So again, we put those notes down there for you at the bottom so you can easily reference those. And I just see Andy has joined us. Andy, I am going to move you over really quickly. 1 second. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for being patient with me.
Welcome, Andy. Andy's another member of our team. So
There we go.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. Okay. So, and then Andy's going to talk to us about logging in, another huge important part. I'm getting into PBIS rewards.
Absolutely. You know, if they can't log in, they can't do anything, right? So we want to make sure that there is a slide that shows how they can log into the web portal and then also how they log into the app. Your school may only use web portal. Your school may only use app. So you guys can decide what you want to show your particular team. On this slide, it shows you how to do that. There's also a video in the notes so that if you just wanted to show the video, you could do that as well, okay? And then also, you know, there may be a need for them to authorize themselves the first time that they utilize the staff app. This slide will help you go through all the steps for them with that. If you need it in the notes, there is a guide that you can look at beforehand, so you're very comfortable with how to do that. There's also, I believe there's a video with that as well. So you can look at the video and that will help too. So we just want to make sure you have that right there ready for you so that you're able to help your people get authorized to use the staff app. Once they authorize that very first time, they don't have to do that again. And after that, they'll then be able to log into the app and stay logged in if they choose that option, okay? Is there a way students can reward staff? That's a great question. At this time, that is not a possibility, but with Andy on here, Andy, did you hear that? That's something that someone is interested in. But definitely teachers and staff members can actually give each other reward, you know, points or award them. So that's something we can talk about a little bit later if we have time. I can log into the PBI site, but not the app. My school does not appear as an option. Any ideas? What we can do for you, we'll talk about that a little bit later toward the end. But when Jill comes back in, she's a part of our support staff and she'll be able to definitely help you with that question.
Yes.
Okay, so we see there's a lot of different support questions here as well. We have a limited amount of time. If we're not able to get to your specific question in the chat, no worries. We will definitely be able to help you out with that a little later. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So once they get logged in, you know, there also is a slide here if you need it, talking about how to send your staff the login emails, okay? So we just want to make sure that you have plenty of slides to get your people logged in. If they're not logged in or having issues with that, they are not going to be able to use the system. So definitely spend some important quality time showing them how to get logged in, okay? And then the next piece, okay. I'm sorry. And then the next piece a lot of people will be interested in is going to be how to reward the students. I mean, that is probably the first piece beyond getting logged in that you want to be extremely comfortable with yourself and help your team and your staff be very comfortable with as well. You want to make sure that they know how to reward the students on the web portal as well as on the app. unless you're just using one of those exclusively. It's very simple, 5 steps in order for them to be able to utilize and reward on the web portal. The notes to that are right there in the notes, but it's basically making sure they navigate to the reward part or page of the main menu. And then they would search the student's name, select the student, select the point and the expectations they want associated with the point. They could put a comment if they wanted to, and then simply click the reward button. Okay, all the steps of how to do that is right there in the notes. And then as far as how to acknowledge on the app, similar steps, navigate to the app, navigate to the main menu, click on recognize a student. The cool thing about the app is you can actually recognize them in 2 ways. You can search their name if you wanted to. You could also scan a badge, or you could actually print off a PDF and you could scan the QR codes for the student or the classroom. But it's exactly the same steps as far as picking the point value, picking the correct expectation you want associated with it, including a comment if you want, and then, selecting the student and either scanning or typing in their name. So very simple steps to be able to give those students those points, and no paper to keep up with, right? Everything's right there within the system. All right, so now Anna, do you want me to talk a little bit about groups page, or do you?
I'm happy to do it. No, I'll take
we
it.
just need to get in? Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do we want to just get in and take a look at it?
I think I'm going to show these slides because that's what they're going to be used to present.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Anna.
Yep. So on the groups page, this is the page that most staff members are going to be using every day. So if there is a place that you really want to focus your attention, it will be on the groups page. So as India was saying, when you kind of chunk this training out, this is a really important chunk you might want to just focus on and give your staff time to kind of get to know the groups page before you move on to all the other features that we have. So for the group screen, we try to highlight some of our favorite features here on the group screen. And so one of the best things about it is that for those classes that are synced with you, if you're with ClassLink or Clever, or your academic classes that have already been loaded when you went through the launch process, you can reward all of your students at the same time. So that's a huge part of this, but you can also use these different features, and feel free to move these arrows around since you're going to get a copy of this. We really like this random button that's here. And on this one, it allows your teachers to select students and then to select someone at random. So and that replaces that can of sticks if you used to have that on your desk. I know I had that for years, picking out sticks of students to do things. So that's a great time saver. Here, this one is another one of our favorites. This is the redeem menu. So this allows you to access all the different functions to redeem. So the store, events, and raffles. Remember that you are going to have 2 different parts of that. There's going to be one for the school, store, events, and raffles, and then for the teacher, store, events, and raffles. So those can all be accessed here. And then our last thing that we really like to share is that toggle presence. When a student is not in class, you can select that student's card that's here and click toggle presence, and then that student is not going to receive points when you reward them to everybody. But when they come back to class, you can just select their card and click toggle presence again, and they're right back in there with the group with everybody else. So think about what features you might want to highlight. Like we said, those are some of our favorites, but there's more options down there at the bottom for you if you want to highlight something else. Maybe you're using a different system and your school really likes messaging, then this messaging feature, maybe you want to highlight that. Our SEL feature can also be used here, and we're really going to talk about that in just a second, but that is a great feature you could also highlight here. Teachers can create their own groups for sure, especially if you have a group maybe that's an after school group, that definitely can be done. It's on the screen previous to this one. So yes, and then teachers can create their own events and raffles aside from the schools, definitely. Yeah, great questions. Okay. So we're going to go to the next one. So you can also get to your groups on the app, which is really nice, especially if you are teaching virtually. You can access those groups here, and you can reward points to your students. You can also have access to that random button, and that is on this screen. So now what we normally do is, Andy, what do you think? Should we go into the system really quickly, or it's 9:35?
You know what? I think groups is such a powerful piece. Maybe let's go ahead and go in the system and show them what it looks like. I know we
Okay.
have a few people that you have some questions about what does that random button help with. Let's go ahead,
Mhm.
maybe take like 2-3 minutes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so here in the system, I am going to be on the second tab, which is the groups tab. So I'm going to select that. And this is what it's going to come up with first. You can see where this plus sign is right here. That was the question about, can you add a group? This is where you're going to do it. You can create a group or class by clicking that green button that's there. And then these other groups that are here, these are groups that are either have been assigned to me or I have created. I can also favorite groups by clicking this orange star that's here. And remember, you have access to anybody's groups in the entire school. You can make it one of your favorites. That means that it will appear here on the top, easy for you to access and click on. So that's a really nice feature. I'm going to go right here into one of my groups. And I'm going to just show you, like we said, some of our favorite features. So one of our favorite things to do is to select all of our students, and we can select one of our expectations they're following and reward those students all at one time very easily. So that is a great feature we always like to demonstrate. The random button, if I want to select a student to run an errand for me, I can select everybody. You can see I clicked on this button here. Now it says deselect, but it can select everybody. And when I click random, then it's going to select one student.
This is something that we don't have, so I'm going to skip it.
From
Okay, design your own shirt, hat, cup, or poster, and that's going to be.
Anna, you got to unmute yourself, Anna.
Okay, thank you. So, and if I click random again, it'll pick another student. So you can also use it to pick groups. So that can be done right there. So that toggle presence, like we talked about, I can select a student and click toggle presence. You can see now that is going to be grayed out. So when I select all my students to give them points, then that student will not receive the point. So that's the great thing about that. So, and then these other buttons that are here, our SEL check we'll talk about, there's our messaging as well. So lots of options for you. This is that redeem menu that's here for the individual teacher store and events and the school store and events and raffles. So all those things, and that's why we say when you're in doubt, go to the groups page because it has so many functions that it can do right there. All right, the referral button, this button will track and you teachers can submit major and minor referrals. That's the only additional fee for us is our advanced referral system. It's $300 and allows you to do those major referrals. So that can be submitted right here on this button. And then Jamie, you have a question about, can you mass add students to a group? Yes, you can. There's a way to upload a file and our support team can definitely help you with that. So you don't have to do it individually. For sure. Yeah, we don't want you to spend all that time doing that. No. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back and we're going to pick it back up. So then the next section that we really try to talk to staff members about is how do you redeem points? Because then the points actually have value. So when we talk about redeem, we talk about the store first. So we have lots of links in here for you. If you want to send videos or you want to, for all the different ways that you can do things in the store, most schools find the store to be a huge advantage with PBIS rewards because you can set the prices to be consistent, excuse me, across your whole school. So that's a great advantage. So there are some questions here, excuse me, on how do you set up your store. So some things to think about and some different ways to set up your store. You could do it by grade level. You can do the by seasonal stores. You could also do that. But right now, especially virtually, we have a lot of people that are also focusing on that teacher store. So can you set up your own individual teacher store when you're working with your students virtually? So that is included here. So it runs the same as the regular store. All right, so next is our events. So there's a couple of links here to videos for events. And we're just going to cover events really briefly just to talk about the 3 different types. So there is a redeem event. This is basically an event that's going to cost points. So it's going to take points away from the student for them to attend it. So the next one is called a qualifying event. So this is if students have earned a specific amount of points, they will qualify to attend the event. So that might be 15 points in respect this semester would qualify them to go to the event. It does not cost points, they only qualify to go to it. And then the last one is an award event. They're going to earn points if they go to that event. This is a great way to get students and parents involved in different events that you want them to attend. So that might be attending a virtual parent night. They might earn 20 points going into their, what we call their points backpack. And that they will attend that when they attend that event virtually, or if you have a face-to-face event, they can earn those points by attending it. So it adds. So those events are there, and raffles are our next one. And raffles are so popular because kids and adults love them. They're just so much fun. And so we have 2 different types of raffles, and we have in the notes here for you the difference between the 2. A redeem raffle, you use your points to enter it. That's just like an old school raffle. Remember when we used to have the circus tickets and we would write our name on one and then deposit the other one in there and hold on to it? So that works the same. So it would cost their points to enter. And then the other one is a qualifying. So that works the same way, that they can, they will be entered into the raffle if they have a certain amount of points in their point backpack. So it does not deduct any points from them to enter the raffle. So that's a big part. And then we always go into the system to show how do you redeem those points in PBIS rewards. And so we put that for you in the notes in here. In the store, you might want to add an item to the store. In events, you might want to create an event. And then in the raffle, you might want to run a raffle. So those are some good ideas. And again, this is an idea on chunking this because you can see it's a lot of information to take in. So if you did everything at once, it's really a lot to take in. So just some tips on that. And then we just want to give you some helpful resources. All right, this next one, this slide looks really difficult now, but that's because it's animated. So this is about our social emotional check. So when you present this slide, they'll come in one at a time. And our social emotional checks, teachers can do with students right now. That's the only way that we have at the moment. We are going to roll out, hopefully by the end of 2020, a way for students to check in with an SEL check. But right now it's just for teachers to check students in. So they can do that virtually or they can do that in person. And that can be also done on the web portal or the app. And all the settings for it can be customized. So if you're following a specific SEL curriculum, then you can also follow that and you can customize it with specific colors, with the wording that you're using, All of those different parts and pieces can be customized here. And then we are collecting that data for you in our system. So there are reports and data that you can also utilize with that SEL check. So this very last screen that you're seeing here, this is the customization screen that allows you to change all of those features with SEL. We've found so many schools have really enjoyed this feature and making that connection with students, especially now that they're working with so many virtually. Great way to go. All right, India, do you want to talk a little bit about parent access?
Absolutely. I think it was Ricardo earlier talking about that parent piece. And sometimes in PBIS, that's the group we sometimes forget, is the parents. And they're definitely an important part of this entire PBIS and PBIS reward experience. And so we are so excited that you are able to give access to a parent app to all of your parents. There is a letter that you would generate and send to them that has a QR code that they would use to scan in order to utilize the app. And for parents, there is just an app, not a web portal. We know parents always have those phones ready to go. But the other great thing is not only do they have the app, but also you have the ability to message them and they have the ability to message you back. So that is a great feature to make sure that we're always keeping parents in the loop of all the things going on regarding PBIS and PBIS rewards. If you look here in the notes, you also notice that we do have articles to help you as far as how to get them that link. There's also some videos that you could watch to help you make sure that you feel very confident in being able to give your parents access and also be able to message with them back and forth. And you can also do that messaging within the web portal as well. So this slide is what you could use to kind of talk your staff through how to utilize that feature within the web portal. And so that's definitely an easy thing for you that you'll be able to use the web portal and the app to be able to contact your families of your students. And this is kind of what the staff view looks like for the app. So if you kind of want to show your staff what it looks like, this slide will help you be able to do that. There's also some more notes in the notes section to kind of give you some talking points around how to truly message with the parents and the best ways to do that.
Oh, sorry, India. How about a blue screen?
That's a screen for you to put whatever you like, friends. And we will say we purposely put that in there so you can put whatever you want right in there. Maybe stay awake or whatever you want to say to your staff. But this is what the parent view looks like regarding the messaging. So that's just kind of a view. So if they're like, well, what does it look like when I send it to them? You can show them this slide. And is the QR code the only way for parents to connect with the student? You may see here we have another staff member that's with us, Kara. She's helping us run the chat. So definitely if you do have any questions, make sure that you look in there. But yes, so we just want to make sure, utilize the notes. The notes have all the different things that you need to help you be prepared to really make sure that your staff understands how that messaging feature works and how they can really make it work for them. So now, Anna, we're going to talk a little bit about rewarding virtually, right?
Yes.
And many of you may be working in those virtual only settings, distant learning settings right now. So we wanted to kind of give you some ideas of the things that you could actually reward your students for virtually. What are some things that they could do that you could give them points for? Well, if they have digital citizenship, they've checked in with SEL, lots of different ideas here of things that you could do. If they participate in a spirit day, give them points for that. If they completed their activities, give them points for that. If they have the uniform on, if you're a uniform school, Dress for Success school, give them points for that. If they're on time, give them points for that. Also, if you're interested in, having help with running your virtual classes, set up jobs. We even have a resource we're going to give to you that has some suggestions for some digital jobs that you could set up, like the chat monitor and other things like that. So kind of give them points for that, for actually helping you work your classroom and not having to rely just on yourself to make things be successful. And the other thing is, an easy way to kind of let them redeem those points, create a reward event where they could utilize those in a way that doesn't cost you a dime, just some time.
Mm-hmm.
Anna, you want to talk a little bit about rewarding virtually within groups? Because you are the groups lady today.
Yes, so there is a feature in groups too that settings, it kind of looks like a right here. In that settings menu, there is a way that you can print off what we call group print. And it will print off for you a one-page document that will have all of your students listed. Will have a QR code for each student. And the great thing about this is that as a virtual teacher, you can print this out and have this on your desk next to you. And then you can utilize your cell phone then to scan those QR codes as you're teaching and you're working with your students virtually to easily give them points, because we know when you're working virtually, you have all kinds of different screens going on in your computer. So sometimes it's hard to have something else to click on. This is a great way to scan those QR codes and give those points away. If you scan the one at the very top right here that just says math, that gives points to every student in your class. So it's a great way to utilize that when you are working virtually with your students. And we know when you're working virtually, we need ideas on how can we redeem those points for our students. And so this list is really great because we have added to it over time. The more interactions we've had with all of our different customers. But this gives you lots of ideas that you can even sort by grade level on how can you redeem those points virtually. We know that it's a challenge with our youngest learners all the way up to our high school learners. So it gives you great resources, and you can see the link is right here in the notes section as well for you to be able to send that out to your staff. We always want to share the support site with our staff members so they know where to go to get support, and they can find that. And then you can see you can always click on this need help button at the bottom, and you can chat. You can even chat with Jill. She's one of our support people that's there every day and is available to help. You can call us, you can send us an email, lots of different options. We're definitely here to support you at PBIS Rewards. The other option that you could also make available to your staff is our Explorers series. And this series gives short little bits of information on each of those topics that are the most popular. So there's kind of a little planet there that is about groups. There's a planet there about the store. So it has information about each of those. So again, first can reference this and they can utilize it to help answer those questions as well. So that is really the end of the professional development PowerPoint that you're going to be getting a copy of, that we really wanted to kind of behind the scenes part of it. And like we said, also that you can customize it any way you'd like to. We put it into Google Slides. And so that's the link that you'll also be receiving. All right, so I am going to put this back really quickly here. Can y'all still see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does it look like it's in a presentation right now?
Yes, it's in regular presentation as we
Okay,
do.
fantastic. Okay, so what we'd like to do is just with everybody here today, we would love for you to stay connected with us. We have created a new user group on Facebook called the PBIS Rewards Breakout Room. And you can see there is a QR code that is there on the right-hand side, and you can hold your camera up on your phone and scan that, and we would love for you to join us. We have lots of different ideas that we roll out to that breakout room, and we get lots of opinions and feedback from you from that group as well. And we are always asking about different ideas. I know Kara asked the other day, what's kind of your PBIS Rewards wish list for Christmas? And we got lots of ideas on that. So please join us on Facebook if you can, and we would love to stay connected with you that way. And if you need help, we have you covered. So again, this is our support page that we always have available, and you can see the website is down at the bottom and has lots of different information that's here. And that Oh, sorry, Carrie.
Hey, Anna,
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to, sorry to interrupt. I see lots of you are joining the break room, so thank you. There are a couple of questions that you do have to answer before we are allowed to admit you. And so if you'll just make sure that you agree to that you can put your name and stuff in there, that just gives us a little layer of security on our side. So if you'll just go back to where you can sign up, there'll be like 2 little questions. It'll take you about 2 seconds, and then I'll be able to approve you. I have it up here live. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, Renee, it says that your phone won't scan the QR code. That's fine. When you go to Facebook, if you just look at let me go back just a second, for PBIS Rewards breakout room or break room, excuse me, you should easily be able to find us there. So sorry about that. Hopefully we should get it to work. Okay. All right. Oh, thanks, Carrie. You put it in the chat too. Okay, so there's the examples on the support page that we're always happy to help you. Also, we're going to include this resource for you. It's a next steps planning document, and it really allows you to look at each of those pieces that you need to have in place with PBIS and kind of making some plans moving forward. We know that sometimes, you know, when we're looking at our school year, January is kind of a little bit of a reset. And so that's why we really wanted to do these training sessions for you, to be able to utilize this time to maybe do a reset in January if you need to. So this is a great planning document that you will have access to, and we'll send that to you when we send out the link. And then this is the link to receive all of the different resources. So you can scan this with your phone, and I'm going to put the link over in the chat as well, so that you have access to that. Let me get to it really quickly. Oh my, it's just 1,000 screens. I apologize, everybody. So let me put that over there, and you can easily get to that. There we go. So that has all the resources listed, not only for this session, but we'll have our other upcoming sessions listed there. You can get a little preview since you guys are our first ones. So next, we would love for you to give us a little bit of feedback today on what you thought of this session. How can we make it better for you? Oh, sorry, everybody. There we go. How we can make it better for you. So this, again, if you just hold your phone up and you scan that QR code that's there, that can give you some information or give us some feedback on this session that we had today. We know it's a lot of information to cover, but we really want to give you a nice package of professional development that you could take back and customize for you. So thank you all so much. India or Kara, anything else y'all want to add?
Well, we just want to make sure that you all know that you are not alone. We are here for you. Even though we've just had this hour together that went really fast, in my opinion, way too fast, we are here for you. So please make sure that if you have questions or concerns from a training perspective, email us at training@pbisrewards.com. We'll put in the chat again. Also, please stay connected with us. If you are a social media user, please stay connected with us with our Facebook group. And then also as well, you know, if you have support issues, we have the absolute best support team in the world, in my opinion. So please make sure that you reach out to them if you have support needs. You are not alone in your PBIS and PBIS Rewards journey. We are here with you for the duration.
Absolutely. So if you want to stay on, you're welcome to do that. We can stay and answer some questions for you, but we know your time is precious too. And so those people that need to go on to your next meeting, we know, I'm sure you have a full schedule. So I'm going to go back to that survey QR code. If you get a chance to help us with that, that'd be wonderful. But if not, we love you here today. We appreciate it. And we look forward to helping you in the future. A wonderful day. Yes, you're going to get the recording and the PowerPoint.
I was going to say, I think you want to just say it again, that you will get the recording. You will get access to all this. We have your emails since you had to register for this webinars. So we will just take that. We'll send everything to you. When you get that, you'll also have access to the training email. So you'll be able to respond back to us if you have any questions. If you want to stay on for a few minutes, we do have a little bit of time. The other group is still meeting as well, it looks like. So we would love, if you have a question, just put it